Hi guys, how are you? Okay, so for our new project, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be exploring Cubism. So we explained that Cubism is something that uses geometric figures in order to be incorporated in art. So that means like triangles, squares, rectangles. And this one is super easy, okay? So because it's a project that's only going to be done for today, we want to make it simple. So all you need is one piece of paper, right? And what you should be doing is that you should be cutting your paper in half, right? So you have your paper like this and you just fold it, and now you just have half, right? So you can draw something inside. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw something, and I'll draw a heart, which is super simple, right? I'm hoping that you can see it. 1 second, let me just try to see if I can make it easier. All right, so this makes it much easier. So I have my paper over here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna draw a heart. Now you could choose to draw anything you want, but I'm just gonna go ahead and draw a heart. Do you see that? The next step to make it sort of, so this is simple, and this is not cubism, but if I were to incorporate some geometric shapes, then it would become cubism. So all I do is then get my ruler, and I could just make random lines with my ruler going across, and it doesn't have to be anything specific. It could be lines going up, lines going down, right? And that's it. So now I've incorporated triangles and spaces. So when you color it, you could just color this a section of colors and this different colors. And I'll go ahead and show a little bit of how that would look. But I'm gonna just show you something else. So let's say I have, I would like to draw an eye. Let's make it a little interesting, right? So I will draw a giant eye on this side. We know that that is sad, then happy, right? And then a circle for the iris, right? A little circle. So this is it. Very simple, right? And now I just go ahead and take my ruler again and just make lines across. It doesn't have to be that complicated. It could just be very simple lines across, and then it will allow my thing to be Cubist. So right now I have it here, right? Okay, so going back to the choice of colors. So if I'm going to be doing the heart one, right? And you can do anything you want, then what I would do first is get colors that are sort of in the reddish family. Now you could flip it. You can make your heart like in the bluish family or whatever the case may be. But I'm choosing kind of, whoops, sorry about that. I'm choosing colors that are sort of in the red pink spectrum, just so that I can show you how it differs. So my heart, as you can see, has some divisions right there. Now for this part, I'll say I'm gonna go with blue greens, right? So I will go ahead and start coloring those over here. Let me see so that you can make sure that you can see what I'm doing. I would just color these. Each triangle should be a different color. Or like for instance, if you want to use more than one orange section, you could do that because it's within the same section. Like it's not exactly next to it. We will still recognize those. So wherever there is a line, I'm just gonna go ahead and color it. Pretty simple. I mean, the eye would definitely be trickier. And because it's only half a paper, this is something that you can easily complete in one day. A sharpener would be nice. Let's see. I'm going with a darker red over here. And since I have some of that, I'm going to go ahead and use that darker red also in this section over here. Now, if you look closely, over here is a little tiny triangle, and that triangle doesn't fit into the heart, right? So that would be the other section, right? I'm gonna go ahead and see if I could get an even darker red. It's not that much darker, and I could just put it, well, it kind of doesn't look so much like it should be there. So now I'm going to go with a lighter pink. This is more like a peachy pink. maybe I can add a little bit of pink to make it look more like pink, because it doesn't look that pinkish to me. So I can even mix colors up. I'm gonna go ahead with the darker. I could even incorporate purple if I wanted to. That would work as well. And even if you have the same color, but you go, let's say you press a little harder, it makes it into a darker color, as you can see over here, because this is sort of the same color, and it's making into a darker color, then it's going to look pretty cool. Going ahead and almost there, and I think I'm going to go with a light color here. So far, this is what I have. Okay, and I'm going to go a little bit darker pink here. And this is what I have. So my heart is a Cubist heart. See how simple that is? Now I want the background to be different colors that will kind of make it all stand out. And I can choose grays and blacks and browns, or I can choose the blues, which is what I want, and also greens, right? I want to choose some greens and some blues, dark blue. And I noticed that I probably need a little bit more lines. So I'm gonna go ahead, and before I start, I'm gonna go ahead and make some more lines. Because over here, it's kind of, there's not much space. So I'm gonna go ahead, go across, maybe make it a little bit diagonal so it won't be as typical. So I'm going a little diagonal here, and I'm gonna go a little diagonal here. So now I got this. Right? Again, each section that is next to each other should not be the same color. So let me just go ahead and color that. Okay, so this is going to be green right here. And already, because it's an opposing color that is not in the same color family as the reds and the pinks, it's creating some contrast, right? And that's exactly what I want to do. And because they're like greens and blues are in the same family, they also complement each other. Okay? And it's a very easy, super easy project. You don't have to go with these colors. You can obviously do a variation of your own colors, and that will look really cool too. Remember that dark blue is also in that spectrum, so I'm going to go ahead and put some dark blue over here. It's right there, so that section. And I told you before, we have a tiny little triangle there, so I'm going to go ahead and color that tiny triangle, this little light turquoise over here, which I would also use for over here in this section. As long as the colors, you can, like I said, you could reuse the colors. As long as you're not reusing it in a way, in close proximity to this where you put it, then it works, because then you'll still see those shapes. Okay. Let me just go ahead. I feel like I'm running out of time, so at least if I surround the ones that right next to the heart, you'll notice exactly what I'm trying to achieve. You could even put purples. I mean, the purple is kind of like in between using both of these colors, or you can even use another different green that you might want to use that will also be within the green over there. Oopsies, I'm just trying to, obviously if I didn't have a time crunch to videotape this, I would color and take my time. I have a dark green over here, so I'm going to go ahead and use that dark green. And again, because this is not in close proximity, I can go ahead, well, I'm actually going to use this turquoise over here. I can use this dark green. over here. So we're just coloring away the end product. And so this will also actually give us a glimpse of what we're going to be doing with our painting project. That will also be Picasso inspired, because then we'll know and realize, well, you know, if we use these color, will it complement our painting inside? So, because we're going to be working on watercolor painting the portrait of Pablo Picasso. But this is basically the gist of it. You guys see it? Pretty easy. Anyway, that's it for now. You can continue coloring. I hope this video was informative. Have a good one. Bye.